So today I'm going to be doing a review on this beautiful thing right here, the Tartiest Pro palette by Tarte, in case the name didn't give it away for you. I will go over pros, cons, packaging, formula, how I thought the eyeshadows worked, and then I'll do swatches at the end. Personally, I thought about buying this palette a lot. There was so much marketing. I like it when there's marketing on a product, but you know when it's like overkill and you're like, I don't need a picture of someone holding a palette in like a beautiful paradise background for me to be interested in it. I'd prefer to know if it's actually good quality or not good quality. So I went back and forth like 2 months, and then after 2 months I did finally end up buying it. So I've been using it for the past week as my only palette. I've used like all of the colors in it except for maybe one of the shimmers, and yeah, so I feel like I have a pretty good grasp on what I think about it. So first off, let's just dive right in. I'll do all the talking and then I'll do these swatches at the end of the video for you. So first off, diving into the packaging, it is very pretty when you first open it. You've got a matte black, and then in gold, you can see it with the light reflecting. You've got gold, it just says Tartiest Pro, Tarte at the bottom, has, it's plastic. It feels nice, it has a nice weight to it, but to be honest, I think the only reason I'm opening it, the only reason it has a nice weight to it is the mirror, I think. Because if you hold it open, this plastic is very light. I don't want to say cheap, but it's really light. So the weight, because I know some people think weight equals more high quality like feeling. So the weight really comes from the top part and the mirror. Sorry if I blinded you. You do get a nice mirror in here though. It is a good mirror. It's a large size, so I do really like that about it. I think the packaging is pretty when you first get it, to be honest though. The matte black, it gets dirty very quickly, like super quickly. I use it like the first day, and then I was looking at it and I was like, this isn't as pretty as it was 24 hours ago. And it's not one of those things where it's like you can rub off your fingerprints. It's like once your oils have touched this, it never looks the same. So it's pretty, and it stays pretty, but doesn't stay as pretty. For the packaging for the inside, minus the mirror that blinded you guys. Sorry, I'm gonna have to like do this just because you can't fold the mirror back on it because it's a hinge, so the hinge doesn't go 180. There we go, that's the word. But you can see it's 1, 2, 3, 4 by 1, 2, 3. It's 16 mattes, and then you have 4 shimmers. The gold packaging continues on the inside. I'm gonna get something to cover up the mirror so you can see the colors better. But it's the same, it's a light plastic, nothing special. The color spectrum itself, let me get my notebook so I can cover it up and show you. There we go. So it's not pretty, but you can see it better. So the colors themselves are matte. All the mattes are very like neutral shades. They're all very neutral, that's what I was trying to say. And really the only pop of color is this bottom shimmer color right here. Surprisingly, when you look at this palette, it kind of reads almost like a warm tone palette, but when you actually fiddle around with it a little bit more, it's not. And I know that sounds weird, but you have kind of pops of accents. Your darker colors are warm, but then all of your like transition lighter colors tend to actually have a cooler tone to them, which I know sounds funky, and the colors all still work together, but this almost reads, to be honest, more as a cool tone neutral palette with dark warm mattes. Just work with me on it. Because for example, like all of these, well, this one comes across kind of peachy on camera, but this is cool tone for transition. This is a light-ish, I guess it's warm tone. They're kind of neutral. But this is cool tone. This is cool tone. This goes back into peachy. This is a nice dark orange. You have cool tone. This is a red. And then, like I said, all the darker colors are warm on this. But this is a mix of a lot more cool tones than I was expecting. And these are all warm tones minus the blue. So that's it for the color scheme. They are very pretty colors. It is nice. One thing though, I think when you look at it, you think, wow, I can do a lot of looks with this. And you can, that's true. I'm not knocking that. But when you actually look at it a bit closer, that dang mirror. When you look at it a bit closer, actually, for the amount of shadows you're getting, so you're paying for 16 shadows, you honestly do not need this many matte neutrals, because a lot of these colors, even though they look different in the pan, they read incredibly similar on your skin. They blend out very similar. So I think as far as diversity goes, you can get a lot of good neutral smoky looks out of this. But overall, I think when you're getting 16 shades, I would like a couple more pops of color to play around with the look. I don't need like 8 shades of brown. But personal preference, I'm someone where I like that in palette. I like there to be at least 1 or 2 pops of color. So that's something I would take into consideration. It would be a good travel palette as far as like the color schematics go. To get actually into the formula of it, I have mixed feelings. They feel, for the most part, I don't know if any of you guys have tried these. I've never personally bought in Tarte before because they have kind of a gritty texture to them and a bit more dry, and that's not my favorite thing. If I had to compare what these feel like, I would say they actually remind me of the mattes from the Kat Von D Metal and Matte, and that they have a very smooth, very fine feel to them, almost feeling like a finishing powder. The only exceptions, and I didn't like these colors, but all of them have this great formula, but you get into the reds here, and they have a much more gritty texture to them. That's the only like big inconsistency I noticed with the formulas. The dark brown too here is a little bit grittier. Oh, you can't see that. It's a little bit grittier feeling. Otherwise though, all the other colors feel really, really smooth. So only those 3 colors have like a gritty texture to them, which is different. And all of the shimmers are also, they're kind of typical. They're smooth, they're easy to apply. The shimmers have a nice formula to them. I'm a bit pickier with mattes than I am with shimmers because I feel like shimmers are almost easier to get right. So the formula is nice from a texture perspective, minus those 3 colors. As far as pigment, it's okay. It's not horrible. I wouldn't be like, oh my god, the pigment on this is ungodly awful, don't buy it. But I'm also not like, oh my gosh, the pigment is amazing on this. You need it now. I'm like, this is a neutral palette. I don't think the pigmentation on them is great. They blend out a lot. Blendability is awesome, but if you lose too much pigment when you blend them out, then I'm like, these are on the cusp for me with that. This isn't gonna sound flattering. You can get a lot of very pretty, blown out, smoky, blended, like muddy looks with this. I don't think it's the best for doing like precision placement with your eyeshadows because of how they blend. I don't think they're the best for that. And I really like all the neutrals in it, but I was actually really disappointed with, you can see here, these are like kind of purpley tones. So you have like warm browns, purples, reds, and then cool tones is kind of the 4 things that they have broken down. And you have here purple tones and here red tones. They look very different in the pan. But when you apply them to the lid, I find them to be muddy. The pigment doesn't ring true for what you see in the pan as to what goes on your eye. In particular, the red shades were a bit disappointing to me. I know that reds and purples are some of the hardest colors, that's why I was so drawn to this dough, is you don't normally see a palette that is so full of reds and mauves and purples. So while attracted to me to this palette, I think it's also the downfall of the palette because the reds and purples are not the best quality. I thought the reds were a bit patchy. In particular, this one, what's it called? It's called Mod. Goes on a lot lighter than it appears in the pan. And then Drama, which looks like it's significantly darker than it. Oh, I'm so sorry, this mirror is very cumbersome. And then this color right here, Drama, it looks a lot darker than Mod in the pan, but when you blend it out, like, I blended these colors together, and I tried to do a halo eye with them, but the way that they blended together, I could slightly tell a difference between them, but they really muddled together, so the formula I think is okay. It's, like I said, I like it, but I just think it's muddied. And I don't like saying that, and I don't want to be like kicking a dead horse, because I got really excited, but I just feel that it's muddy. And like the dark color Smoked, which is the dark brown in the top, I used it today. I used this palette today, and I like it. I like it, I just don't love it. And it's expensive. So yeah, I don't think it's necessarily worth the money, I guess. I guess that's why it's so harsh, is that when something costs over $50, you best knock my socks off. And these did not knock my socks off. They are still on my feet. But actually, that's a lie. My feet are cold because I don't have socks on. But that's besides the point. But I think you all know what I'm saying, is that a higher price tag means higher quality. And I like it, but it's just a neutral palette. And I have other neutral palettes. And yeah, even the trendy color, which is the pop of color right here, it's muddied as well. It's a dark, these are really popular colors right now, where it's that dark shimmery turquoise, but it feels like it has like, I don't know, I guess like a black base or a brown base. I don't know how formulas actually work from like a chemical aspect. But on the lid, it's pretty. It's not that it's not pretty, but the color doesn't ring through. They just all get muddy. I keep saying that, but that's the only thing I can really do to describe it. So, do I like it? Yes. But I think if you have a good neutral palette, there's absolutely no reason to buy this. I honestly like my Lorac. I feel like Lorac's underrated. I know they used to be popular and everyone's like, yes, we're over them. I personally love those palettes a lot more than these. And, ooh! These guys also had kick up on them. Sorry, I'm like trying to do a comparison for like the eyeshadows. I like versus this one in my mind and remember everything. These guys had some kick up to them, which surprised me. You can already see I've only used it like for a week, but in the shades I have used it in, you can definitely tell there's a lot of kick up. There is fallout as well. I recommend, with these guys, I do recommend doing your eye makeup before you do your foundation or base, or you can bake, do something to protect under your eye. Going in with the darker colors in particular, there was fallout. And, okay, this is one more thing. One more thing, I promise. I know I've, like, tangented. I know I've gone on a tangent and just been talking a lot about it. But it's hard, you know, when you want to love something and you're like, I want to love you. But you're just kind of meh. But one thing that is really interesting, that surprises the hell out of me that no one has said, is that, yes, I look weird because I'm smelling this palette, but this palette smells like Too Faced eyeshadows. I don't know why no one has commented on that. I think it's very interesting. I'm not like throwing like shade or saying that they copied or anything like that. But it's really, really weird to me because these smell like Too Faced eyeshadows. Not any of the Sweet Peach, obviously, but I have, from 2 years ago it is now, from 2 years ago I have one of their Christmas palettes. It was a big one. It's actually my favorite thing that I have from them. And literally, like, when I opened this, I was like, And I was doing my eyeshadow and I was like, why does this smell so familiar? And I was like, oh, light bulb! This smells like Too Faced eyeshadows. I don't know if that was intentional or not. If they just wanted to be cocoa-y. So it's an enjoyable set. It's enjoyable. I like how it smells. But it is, I just thought that was like a funny little side note. So we went over packaging. We went over formula. We went over like blendability. They blend well, but they almost blend out too much because you lose pigmentation. You can go and pack it back on, but that was a meh. Only a couple of the shades are patchy, in particular the reds and the purples. The shimmers are beautiful. I'm trying to think, did we miss anything, people? No, I think that's kind of it for everything. So this is one of those where I would say, if you have a neutral palette, you don't need this bad boy. You really don't. If you want an easy travel palette, this is a good one. It'll give you a lot of varying toned neutral or smoky brown looks. But if I wanted to do something like really dramatic, I don't know, there's just other palettes that inspire me more than this. But yeah, I hope that this was helpful. Pardon my ramblings. And I will go ahead and get us into the swatches, and then this video will be done. Okay, so for the swatches, the first color we're going to go in with is Classic. This is like the top row. And the next one is Innocent, followed by Whimsy, and then the dark brown is Smoked. These colors have like a nice kind of terracotta feel to them. And then the next row down, Vintage is this white color. Fierce is the lighter brown. And then you have No Filter after that. And then Vamp is like the dark brown in this row. I'm sorry the light colors don't show up so well on me. I'm very, very pale, so they just kind of blend into my skin. So the third row down, we have Chic, which is a lighter kind of tan color. Then Profesh, which is a neutral cool tone. Mod, which is a red tone, and Drama. These two look darker in the swatch than they do on the lid. Remember, these are finger swatches where I'm applying a good amount of pressure, so the pigmentation's a lot more. That color is Indie, then Bold is after that, then Edgy is a nice dark brown, and then we have Punk. So it's not that I don't like these colors, I really do like the palette. It's just, I think as you can tell from the swatches, a lot of them start to look the same. And that was kind of an issue I had, but I do like them. So right now I'm swatching the, brain work. These are the pretty shimmers in the palette. The top one is Ethereal, which is a gold, then Glam, which is kind of like a champagne-y. Minx is that deeper reddish tint, and then you have Trendy, which is the teal colored. These are super, super pretty, and I like them a lot. But yeah, those are all the swatches for you guys, and I hope you enjoyed them. So that concludes these swatches. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that it was helpful. I know these are just my thoughts and opinions on it, but I have become slightly makeup obsessed, so I am comparing it to products that I do like and that I do not like. Whenever I'm making a comparison, it's always not just how I feel about this, but how it compares to products that I like and think work and don't work. So it is coming from a educated place. Whatever, you know what I'm saying. Yep, I hope the swatches helped. I hope this review helped. Leave your comments or what you thought of this palette down below. I know it was pretty polarizing. Some people loved it, some people hate it. I don't think you necessarily heard a lot about it so much in YouTube reviews by big YouTube bloggers because it was kind of a but I hope to see you in the next video. Please click subscribe, leave a comment, anything. I know I'm new to YouTube, but I'm just having a lot of fun with this, and that's what makeup is. So I'll see you in the next one.